Konnan didn't just arrive in wrestling. He kicked the door open and asked why it smelled like privilege and chicken crap. From Havana to Miami to Mexico to WCW, this man walked through every major promotion with one rule. Say what you mean, even if it gets you blackballed. And for Konnan, it often did. He wasn't some guy politicking and catering or whispering in Vince Russo's ear. He was cutting people off, on tape and off mic. If someone lied, he aired it out. If someone played race games, he named names. And if someone tried to take credit for his work, that was career homicide on sight. The 5 men in this video weren't play rivals. These weren't edgy promos. These were shoot feuds, real names, real venom. Long-standing, never squashed beef that aged like milk in the sun. We're talking accusations of racism, sabotage, theft, humiliation, betrayal, and worse. And Konnan never once flinched from naming every single one of them, even when it cost him paychecks. He helped bring lucha to the US, created stars like Ray and Psychosis, built promotions, and ran creative. But at the end of the day, Konnan had more enemies than title belts. And the worst part? He was right, more than he was wrong. So buckle up. These aren't just 5 guys who clashed with Konnan. They're 5 guys Konnan never forgave. Dutch Mantel might have worn a cowboy hat, but what came out of his mouth wasn't Southern charm. It was racial rot. Konnan didn't just dislike Dutch, he walked out of a company because of him. It was 2005, early TNA days. Konnan had helped form the Latin American Exchange, not just as a gimmick, but as a statement. The man brought in diversity, authenticity, and heat. But Dutch? He was head of creative, and according to Konnan, the man booked like it was still Jim Crow season. In a shoot interview with Bill Apter, Konnan said, flat out, Dutch was a racist. A lot of people were. Jeff Jarrett was too. But Dutch was the worst. He claimed Mantel routinely undercut Latino talent, booked them weak, talked down to them backstage. And when Konnan pushed back, Dutch tried to sideline him from the angle he created. That's like a guy stealing your car and then complaining about your music taste. It got so bad that Konnan quit TNA in the middle of a hot angle. He said he wouldn't work another minute if Dutch had the pencil. I was trying to build something, and he wanted to turn it into Speedy Gonzalez comedy. I wasn't doing it. And it wasn't just about himself. He was fighting for Homicide, Hernandez, and every luchador being treated like a Saturday morning cartoon. Dutch wrote like he wanted every Mexican wrestler to carry a taco and a leaf blower. When Konnan finally left, the locker room split. Some backed him, most stayed quiet. But the message was clear. If Dutch was booking, Konnan was bouncing. Konnan didn't just throw shade at Ric Flair. He lit a goddamn bonfire and called it a roast. If you're wondering how 2 legends from opposite worlds could end up in a decades-long shoot war, well, it starts with Flair being Flair, and Konnan calling bullshit in every language he speaks. Back in WCW, Flair and the 4 Horsemen treated the luchadors like background dancers. Konnan saw it. Flair saw him seeing it. And the mutual disdain just grew. According to Konnan, Flair was a locker room politician and racist dinosaur whose only real contribution was getting drunk and giving guys bad advice. I never liked Rick. He buried everybody who wasn't white and Southern. If you were Latino, forget it. In one podcast, Konnan straight up said that Flair hated anyone who wasn't part of his NWA Relic crew, unless they kissed the ring or came with a limo and a Rolex. It hit a boiling point when Flair got a say in creative and reportedly pushed back against giving Konnan and his crew any meaningful screen time. Not just out of booking preference, Konnan claims it was cultural resentment. He didn't get our style and he didn't want to. He treated Ray and Psychosis like kids in masks. They never squashed it, not even years later when Flair joined TNA and Konnan was running AAA. The disdain stayed nuclear. Flair looked at Konnan's crew and thought, I didn't know catering delivered burritos now. This wasn't pro wrestling beef. This was cultural warfare, fought in promos and promo codes. Juventud Guerrera was once Konnan's protege, his ace in the hole in AAA and WCW, a guy he trusted. But the heat between these 2 reads like a telenovela with more bottles thrown than scripts flipped. Konnan's beef with Guerrera started backstage when his partying got out of control. Rumors flew that Guerrera was stealing from locker rooms, showing up late, and using drugs that would make even a Breaking Bad extra uncomfortable. Konnan said on his podcast that Guerrera's antics almost cost us major shows, and that he burned bridges everywhere. And when Konnan confronted him, Guerrera went off the rails. I had his back for years, then he turned into a snake. The kind of snake that bites the hand and then acts surprised when you stop feeding it. Konnan also accused Juvi of trying to sabotage other Latino talent to push himself, turning locker rooms toxic and polarizing crews. There were even whispers Juvi tried to interfere with Konnan's booking decisions in AAA, just to keep the spotlight. Juvi's so bad he makes Tiger King look like a responsible adult. Their fallout was so brutal that AAA officials reportedly had to step in multiple times, but nothing really healed. This wasn't just a fallout, it was a full-on mutiny, and Konnan wasn't having any of it. Vampiro walked into the lucha scene looking like a bad horror movie extra and talking like he ran the streets of East LA KONNAN. He wasn't buying it. To Konnan, Vampiro was a poser, a guy playing gangsta while missing every real-life checkpoint. Konnan repeatedly called him out on podcasts and interviews. That dude tried to play street tough, but I lived that life. He rode a skateboard. I was dodging real bullets. It wasn't just verbal jabs. The locker room split like tectonic plates when Vampiro tried to co-run AAA in the 2000s. Konnan blocked him at every turn, accusing Vampiro of playing games with the promotion and not respecting the lucha culture. This wasn't petty jealousy, it was about authenticity. And things turned physical too. According to multiple shoot interviews, Vampiro and Konnan's rivalry nearly came to blows backstage more than once. The tension was so thick that it was palpable even on camera. Vampiro wanted to be the king of the underground, but he was just a kid playing dress-up in a blood-splattered t-shirt. Vampiro acted like he was in a gang, but he looked like he was about to skateboard off a ramp at a middle school talent show. Their feud lasted decades, and despite some professional overlap, the two have never been on good terms. Antonio Peña wasn't just the founder of AAA. He was the man who built the lucha libre empire that Konnan helped explode onto the global stage. But when loyalty turned to lawsuits, the line between ally and adversary blurred like a bad promo edit. Konnan's beef with Antonio was deep. When Konnan's creative control and vision clashed with Peña's business interests, it turned ugly fast. Reports say Antonio tried to freeze Konnan out of the company he helped build, prompting Konnan to file lawsuits over rights and royalties. Konnan publicly accused Peña of trying to rewrite lucha libre history, removing Konnan's influence and credit from the narrative. This was no backstage whisper. Konnan aired it out loud and clear. He turned his back on everyone who built that company, especially me. It wasn't just business, it was betrayal. Peña's camp responded with legal pressure and silencing attempts, but Konnan refused to back down. Peña was like a wrestling promoter crossed with a magician. Now you see Konnan, now you don't. Their fallout left lasting scars on the Mexican wrestling scene, and even after Peña's passing, the tension around Konnan's legacy remains. This story isn't your usual locker room squabble. It's a saga of culture clashes, broken trusts, and a man who wouldn't shut up or back down. Each one left a mark on his journey, and he left a mark right back. These beefs weren't scripted. They were real, raw, and as savage as wrestling gets behind the curtain. When he speaks, people listen, or get burned. If you dug this shoot-style deep dive, smash that like button like he smashed through corporate nonsense. Subscribe for more backstage truths and shoot interviews that'll make kayfabe look like kiddie wrestling. Until next time, remember, backstage heat is the real main event. Thanks for watching.